the second Sunday of Lent. The gospel today is a mountaintop gospel, as is the first reading. The tops of mountains seem to be the encounter point. It's the highest point for the people to get to, close to God, and then God gets close to them. So the mountaintops are places of encounter. We see in the first reading that Abraham, who keeps saying, "Here I am," is invited to a strange adventure. Intimacy implies adventure. Let's just put that there. Intimacy can be frightening. What is going to be asked of me? What is going to be known by others about me? What is going to be known by me about me? All three of those are invitations to adventure. So we read and pray with and listen to Abraham's surrender of his son, maybe to death, or maybe surrenders himself to the adventure of intimacy with God and God's intimacy with Abraham. Abraham, the father of faith, proving his faith, his trust, even to the sacrificing, if that's what God wants, of his son. But the gospel, strange word, transfiguration. You can imagine what that means, that there's a figure and then there's a something like a figure, a surprise, an adventure. So, Peter, James, and John, the big three, climb the mountain with Jesus. And then there's this strange adventure. There's fear. What is this? We can't explain this. This brilliance. And we can't explain the appearance of Moses, the prophet, Elijah. Moses representing the law, Elijah is speaking of God through the prophets. And then there's Jesus. And there's this intimate encounter. And Peter, of course, as we would say in many intimate interactions, let's stay here. Let's continue this picnic. Let's continue this conversation. Let's stay in the experience of intimacy. It's a call of faith to not know what's going on, to be frightened by what's going on. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. Back to reality. They want to stay there. Let's build 3 tents, and one for you, Moses and Elijah, and we'll just stay here. It's comfortable. And then Jesus says, we have to go down the hill. We have to go back and live with the intimate experience, nourishing the adventure of faith. One way of looking at this gospel today, is it's a liturgy. And many of gospel passages are in forms of liturgy. That there is the entrance and there is the transubstantiation, if you will, the transfiguration, the mysterious. And they don't know what happened. And then there is the leaving of intimacy. What's more adventurous? The intimacy? Yes, that's very adventurous. What I might be asked of, what I'm going to know, what I can't explain. Maybe Peter, James, and John said, why are we here? Why is this transfiguration revealed to us? We're just old fishermen. Intimacy may be confined or defined by a new name for us. That most experiences of intimacy, we say, I'm not sure I'm worthy of this. I'm adequate. I'm afraid of what will be revealed of me, to me, and to the other. Will it be enough? Can I live with it? All these questions. The liturgy, as most liturgies do, involve mystery and then leaving the intimacy. But the intimacy continues in the living because of that intimacy. The object of intimacy then is fruitfulness. Intimacy is a means to keep living, as the apostles Peter, Paul, and John do. Peter, James, and John, they do. And Paul, by the way, also lives as fruitful experience after experiencing intimacy of being encountered. Well, that's the challenge for us. What do we get out of liturgy? What do we get out of intimacy? The apostles walked down the mountain. We have to go back to life. The adventure of intimacy is the adventure of living because of the intimacy. The fruitfulness of the transfiguration is the faith and trust and lived by the apostles and the followers of Jesus and the followers of those who read the gospel. So maybe during Lent it's, can I go up to a mountain of quiet and let there be intimacy? And what I find out about myself is not to be changed. It's to be embraced. It's to be lived with. It's to be prayed with. It's me. And to be intimate with myself begins the availability of being intimate with others. You may know people, you just feel they don't want you to get close. Nice weather today, isn't it? Yes. Let's talk about the weather. It's out there. I keep it out there because I'm not sure of what's in here. Jesus encountering us in our own prayer, in the liturgies, embraces his truth of meeting us and saying, don't define yourself by your history, by your isolation, by your definition. Let you be transfigured, your image of yourself, because of the intimacy that Jesus and the Father has with you. And you receive it, as they did. And they went down the mountain, encouraged to go down the mountain. That's the completion of the intimacy on the mountain, is the going down from the mountain. The intimacy of the Eucharist with us is not that we have Jesus inside us, it's that Jesus goes out of us in the way we go beyond ourselves The adventure, yes, we may find out something about us. Maybe somebody else will find out something about us. But we have been received by receiving Jesus. By receiving Jesus, we receive the adventure of intimately sharing Him who has intimately shared Himself with us. Intimacy is meant to be fruitful.